Welcome back to Let's Make a Game, a channel about making computer role-playing games using the free program Twine and the Sugarcube format for Twine. In this video, I'd like to continue talking about the combat mechanic that I've been talking about for the last couple of videos, involving giving the player character a choice of whether to attempt 1, 2, or 3 actions per character. So in the last video, I showed you what it looks like in the program, and I said that we would then move on to looking at the code, which is what we're going to do in this video. We're going to look at the code that deals with displaying the pictures for the player characters and the enemy, or enemies, and you will recall that there are 3 pictures per character. So we might, for the first player character, we have PC1, which is the they haven't gone yet, or it's not their side's turn picture. PC1A, which is the it's this character's turn picture. A stands for active, and one with a black and white picture instead of a colour one. PC1D, which is used when the player has had their go. And we need to have some code that displays the correct one of those 3. So we need to know who has acted, and for that we have an array that is called $acted, A-C-T-E-D, and it's set to 1 when that particular character has gone. The same array is used for both player characters and enemies. We're going to reset it each time the initiative moves from one side to the other, and we simply set a given slot to 1 to show that that character's gone. So if acted 2 is set to 1 and it's the player character's go, that means that PC2 has had their go. Now you might say, well, aren't we going to go through them in numerical order anyway? For now we're doing that, but we are going to change that in future videos. So that's why we have that array rather than just a variable saying whose go it is. Although we have that as well, as you will see. So we have acting_side and acting_char to tell us which side is currently acting and which character. Acting_side is initially set to 2, which is we've arbitrarily decided that means it's the enemy's go. And you might say, well, but it looks like the player characters were going at the start of the program. And that's because when we start a new round, the first thing we do is swap the side. We set acting_side equal to 3 minus its previous value. So 2 becomes 1, 1 becomes 2. These aren't as relevant, but we have arrays for each character's chance of activation and their name. For the text we're going to display in the middle, and then these are the equivalent arrays for the enemies. The enemy_chance is equivalent to char_chance, and enemy_name is equivalent to char_name. It possibly should say PC chance and PC name, because I mean player character in particular, but so slightly bad naming there, but anyway, that's what I've called them now. Then we have variables for how many enemies we have and how many PCs we have. In this case, 4 PCs, 1 enemy. As usual, we make a note that we're using Z, Y, X, W, Z2, Y2, X2, etc. for temporary variables. So, the code for displaying the pictures. We have 2 sets of code, one for enemies, one for player characters. They work almost exactly the same. We have a for loop, goes from 1 to, in this case, enemies. The other one goes to PCS or PCs. If acting side equals 1, meaning if it's the player characters go, we're always going to print the sort of default picture. So we print, this looks complicated, but it's mostly just printing the hover text. The important thing is the square bracket, IMG, square bracket, art/NME, and then a number.png. Most of these lines are the same, except for we might print A or D before the PNG, because the format of the files is basically the same. So if that's not true, if it's not the player character's go, well, maybe acted Z equals 1. In other words, maybe this character has already gone, in which case we print the D version, the black and white done version. If that's not true, maybe this character is currently acting, in which case acting_char AR will be equal to Z. And then we print the A version, so exactly the same line but with the A at the end. And if none of those things are true, then that's identical to the one up here. We just print the default one with a color picture and the black outline. And then we continue the for loop. This bit is displaying the display text, which we'll talk about in a future video. And here we have the code for the PCs. It's exactly the same, except for we're using a different set of variables. So we use PCS instead of NMES. We have if acting side is equal to 2 instead of if it equals 1. And we're using PC something.png or PCD or PC something A. Sorry, PC something D, so PC2D, for example, instead of NME something A or NME something D.png. And that's how that works. What I'm going to do in the next video is probably show you how the random chance works when we attempt a particular number of activations for a given character. But I will leave it there for now. I hope that was useful or interesting to at least some of you, and I hope you will tune in next time.